Whatever the reason, I'm so grateful that you're here because I'm so excited to share with you the 4 foundational tools that I utilize to this day, but really what helped me when I was going through my awakening process, because it's not an easy process. And when you start seeing through the matrix, the system, the programs, the conditioning, you can't look back. So it's just like the Matrix, literally the movie, which I believe is a channel. It's like, do you want to take the red pill or the blue pill? And, you know, I had to make a conscious decision that I desired to be as conscious and true and real and authentic and in my integrity as possible, which meant I was willing to give up everything in my life for truth. So are you ready to take the consciousness pill? Are you ready to do the work? Are you ready to look at these foundations, these tools and processes that will open you up to your spirit self so you can transcend beyond the mind? I'm really excited. Are you ready? Did you know that most people go through their entire life not realizing they are spiritually gifted? They feel disconnected, stuck, and they feel like something is missing. But what if I told you the clarity and connection that you've been searching for might be hidden within your mediumship abilities? Today I'm going to share with you the 4 most common symptoms that those that come to me wanting to search for their gifts, to activate those gifts, are experiencing. 1, do you feel unseen? Like no one truly gets you. Maybe you feel like you're in a room and no one can hear you. 2, you have been disconnected from spirit. So maybe you feel like you don't have any of the clears at all. 3, you're afraid of judgment, afraid of what people would think of you if you harnessed, accessed, and shared your gifts. And 4, you lack the confidence to even take the first step. Today, we're going to go through the basics of mediumship, and I'm going to share with you some very key points and some hacks on how you can access your mediumship abilities. Now, if one of the 4 symptoms that I just spoke about above resonates with you, you're going to want to watch this masterclass. I actually recommend that you get a pen and paper and take notes, or maybe even just lie down and allow yourself to consume this information, because it is not only a game changer, but literally your whole reality is going to shift. There is a codex in my voice, and I'm going to be planting little seeds the whole time so you can decondition from the system that you are plugged into, and you can actually activate your very own matrix system, your very own blueprint. The truth is, you have been trained from the moment you were born. You were born very conscious. You were born knowing who you were. You could smell, you could taste. You know, you cried for what you wanted. You giggled when you were happy. And everyone thought you were gorgeous. Everyone thought you were cute. You're a little baby, right? You were helpless. You really needed the help from others around you. And as you grew, specifically, you know, up until 7, you were like a sponge. But then at 7 years old, we start to get conformed. Don't do that, do this, be like her, be better at that. So we start to shut down our gifts. Now, this probably isn't news to you. You've probably heard this, but bear with me and stay tuned, because you're going to want to listen to this entire video. Are you ready to break free from the matrix that was created for you, so you can step into the multidimensional self that you truly be? Are you ready to access your spirit self, to allow your soul streams to come in, to activate your Akashic records, so your gifts can come in and you can share them freely with the world? I know there's some things holding you back. And today it's my intention to help you smash those limitations, those mistaken beliefs out of the park. We're going to go through this process together, and I'm going to tell you the exact 4 tools that I teach in my mediumship certification to this day. We're on the 13th round of this certification. And I tell you what, these 4 things are the fundamentals. So I want you to give me a yes in the comments. I want you to affirm that so I know that you are ready to transform your reality so you can expand and you can bring in more abundance, love, and of course, superpowers to your reality. Okay, number 1 tool. Okay, this is my hack. And I was really interested when this came through because I used to think a crystal was a crystal, straight up, right? Crystals are pretty. But what I didn't realize about crystals, so this is my number 1 tool that I use in my business, in my personal life, at everything, even with my body, my mind, my soul. I didn't realize that crystals are their own entity. Yes. We have been taught that we are the only kind of living creatures like humans and animals, but crystals are an entity that has a consciousness. And I use crystals every day, and crystals play with me. Here's the thing, crystals are your friend and they talk to you. Okay, yep, cuckoo. It's a little bit crazy, right? Because you've been told that crystals are pretty rocks. Why do you think children are so fascinated? Why do you think that they love them, that they carry around crystals? And I'm not just talking about shiny and pretty crystals. My son, Christian, he has brought me rocks and crystals from the moment he could move. He would fill up his pockets full of rocks and he would bring them to me. And you know, natural rocks have got tiny bits of crystal in them and they were little entities, okay? So what I love about crystals is they all have different personalities. They all talk differently and they can absorb energy. So great for healing. This is why when you go to a shaman or a healer and get some Reiki or whatever, they will put crystals on your body. Specific crystals for specific chakras, meridians, and whatever's going on in your body. So I like to use crystals like rose quartz and amethyst. They are like my basics. I love to use shungite and amethyst, the darker ones, which are really good for protection. And I really like to use just an array of crystals in my healing work. So I have a big bowl of them. And what I do is when I'm about to have a session, I will say, who wants to play with me today? And they will tell me. And how do you know if a crystal's talking to you, okay? Because you will look straight at that crystal and you will just grab it. And sometimes you'll be like, interesting, I chose the cheapest crystal, right? It doesn't matter how common the crystal is. It doesn't matter how much you paid for it. They are just as powerful as one another, but they have got different properties, different characters. And it's really important to understand that we need to look after them. How do you look after crystals? Well, you can put them in the full moon light to charge them and cleanse them. You can actually run them just underwater. Okay, I do this, like I take them down to a river, if I go to a river, or down at the ocean, and I just like put them into the water and it gives them a nice cleanse. You can actually breathe into them, and this is what I do with my pendulums. I like to use a rose quartz pendulum when I'm doing my work, and my breath will cleanse it with my intention, okay? I quite often will get the bowl of crystals and just say a little prayer asking for Archangel Michael and the angels to clear the crystals. Each and every reading I do, I will grab a crystal for the particular person that I'm reading for. Now, quite often I don't know what that client needs yet, right? So I'm just going with my intuition and I will go, okay, rose quartz along with some amethyst. And by the end of the reading, I will definitely know why I chose those particular crystals. I do think that every person, you don't need to have an array of crystals, but everyone needs a rose quartz, okay? If you're going to get 2, I would say a rose quartz and an amethyst. And I've done a lot of work with children because children are so conscious, like I say, up until 7, like they're just this big sponge of awareness and consciousness. So I recommend that children have amethysts and rose quartz if they have crazy dreams or if they're seeing things, and this can give them very much some confidence, but also it gives them that energy of protection in their aura as well. A lot of these things might be reminders for you. Maybe you're like, yeah, I've got like 28,000 crystals, like go you. That's really, really cool. But these are also reminders and the foundations for your mediumship. When people come to me, they are like, oh, I'm lacking the confidence, I've got the fear of judgment, or I'm not sure if I've actually got the gift, but I've got the kind of like inkling that there's something. And I had that inkling too, so I 100% get it. But I would really like to just invite you to pause for a moment, to take a breath and go, yeah, okay, cool. So what's really landed for me today? What have I been reminded of, or what did I learn? So just take a moment there just to breathe in and breathe out. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments what has landed. Are you ready for number 2? It's really, really easy, but I promise you, if you do this number 2 hack, you are going to be like, oh my gosh, thanks for the reminder. It is so simple. Or like, how did I not know that? Okay, so it's really, really simple. You know, you've got your crystals, so you've got your friends, you've got your tools, right? It's really, really good. You know how to cleanse them. You know how to utilize them. You can go do your research on that, go down that rabbit hole, maybe just go talk to your crystals and see what they say. Number 2 is breath work. A lot of my clients, I have big breathwork sessions, right, where we are like 35 minutes of doing a breath, an active breath, a passive breath, a da-da-da-da-da-da. They have massive breakthroughs, and a lot of my clients are like, oh, this is the work, you know, I don't want to show up today because you might have an emotional release. But I'm not talking about the intense breath work. Usually we kind of all or nothing people. I'm talking about a simple, foundational tool that's going to change your life. And this is how it goes. Breathe in. Pause, breathe out. Your mind is the thing. Your mind is a thing that stops you from accessing spirit. So many of my clients come to me and they go, I can't see. My mind is going so fast. I can't hear anything. Why do I feel like I'm spiritually gifted when I've got nothing? How do I get out of my head? I can't meditate. And I'm like, I got you, boo. Close your eyes. Come into your heart space. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. If you do this 5 to 15 times, honestly, your life will change. And I will take my magnificent mediumship pupils, which is my certification. I will take my pupils through this every single session. Why? Because to be a clear channel, you need to realize that you're not reading from your brain, you're reading from your heart. You will notice that if you do this breath, breathing in, pausing, breathing out, even 5 times, and you do this each day, you will be able to meditate, you'll be able to read, you will be able to visualize, and you will be able to utilize all of your clears. How does that sound for you? That's simple, right? In plain sight, this is the hack, the second hack when it comes to mediumship. When I first started going through my awakening when I was 33 years old, I had mind chatter. I thought I was going crazy. My ears were continuously popping. I kept walking into rooms and I thought I'd see feathers, or I would all of a sudden like see something in my head. I felt like I had 5 songs going on at the same time and I couldn't sleep. So my mind had, like Eckhart Tolle talks about, an entity. I had an earworm, I had looping, I had a constant chatter from my very own mind, which was not myself. And I started realizing, like, this is loud. You know, why do people go to concerts? Why do people go to the mall? Why do people go out to socialize? Why do people have their social media on while their television is going, while the radio is going, while the kids are playing with digital devices? Because they want to quieten down the loudness of their thoughts. But what if you could create the space? And this is what I did. A lot of people say to me, Victoria, I don't have the time. I'm like, okay, how much time are you scrolling on your cell phone? How much time are you watching Netflix? Can you breathe for literally 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes. It's actually probably like 1 minute, taking 5 breaths. The hack with this tool is to breathe in, but also say in your mind, breathe in, pause, breathe out. When you say breathe in, when you say breathe out in your mind, that is the only thing that your mind can focus on. So therefore, all the noise dissipates. I dare you to try this. You might want to pause the video right now and do this 5 to 15 times. And I want you to share with me how you feel once you've done it. So do that now. So how are you enjoying this? It's basic, right? This is why it's called like the basics of mediumship. I like to say to people, you know, I can teach you all of the intricacies, like doing soul retrievement on the like spirit that is connected to you from your Akashic records, who was actually you, and then there's an implant, let's remove that, and da, 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 da. Like I've got all of that in Magnificent Mediumship certification. But what I do in my mediumship certification is for the first 6 weeks, I'm teaching you how to re-find yourself, to access your gifts, and to utilize and know how to work with your vessel, because your vessel is not you. I know that sounds crazy. I said to my hairdresser yesterday, she was like, you said everyone's a medium on, you know, on your YouTube video, but is that true? And I said, are you your body? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, are you your body? And she's like, what? Am I a spirit? Am I a soul? And I said, you are a spirit, you are a soul, and you have a body. So what do you want to function from? Do you want to function from your spirit, or do you want to function from your mind, right? Because that's literally like different entities. It's a 3-in-1 that are really hanging out together, and we get to actually have emotional mastery as well as emotional intelligence, psychological flexibility, and that's all within the human. So mindset's really super important, but also understanding the energetics. So I'd love to know what's landed for you so far. So pop that in the chat. This is a bit of an interactive masterclass today. So let's get into the third hack, visualization. So most people come to me and they say, Victoria, I'm not creative. I can't see spirit, but here's the truth. If you can imagine something, you can connect, you can have it. And I'm not even kidding you, right? So I was mind blown when I did my very first reading, like mind blown. So here I was, and I said to one of my hairdressing clients, because I was a hairdresser from like 17 to 33, pretty much. And I said to my client, look, I think I've got some spiritual gifts and I'm really freaking out. I was like whispering to her. I was like, I think I've got some spiritual gifts and I'm kind of freaking out. But I've got this urge to do a reading to stretch my limits and to see if I actually am. Because I feel like I'm going to be on stage. I feel like I'm going to be doing mediumship. But that's just a feeling, right? I didn't feel confident. I was afraid of judgment. I felt disconnected. I felt like I was alone and no one understood me. So I had those 4 symptoms. And she was like, oh, I will totally help you, because she went to a spiritual church and she was also very in awareness. So I took her upstairs from the salon into my lounge, made her a cup of tea, and I said to her, okay, I'm just going to do it. And I went to get my cards, and my mind said, or my spirit guide said, put the cards down. You don't need the cards. And I was like, what? I put the cards down and I said, I'm just going to tell you what I see. Please be honest with me. I closed my eyes and I said, what do I see? All of a sudden, I saw this man in my mind's eye, and he looked just like Clark Gable from Gone with the Wind. And I literally heard Gone with the Wind. And I'm like, I heard myself saying that, right? So here I am going, I'm crazy. And then all of a sudden I was like, what else do I see? And then a little girl popped up and a little boy popped up. And they were holding his hand. And they were both blonde and blue-eyed, but, you know, this Clark Gable character, he had dark hair, he had this kind of smirk, he had the, you know, moustache. Gone with the Wind is a very old movie, which had been out of my thought process for many years. I couldn't believe that had popped in. And at the end of it, I just said, okay, I'm a shaking mess. Like I'm literally pacing up and down while she's sitting there watching me. And I go, I'm just going to tell you and you're going to tell me straight. This is what I see. And I told her what I saw. And then I sat back and I was like, my heart was pumping because I was like, this is make or break. This is going to prove that I'm a fraud. This is going to prove that I just am a weirdo. And she said, that was the best reading that I have ever received. My uncle passed away 3 years ago. I've been trying to connect with him ever since through different mediums. And she told me the story about how he had children, similar in age, blonde haired, blue eyes, and how he was a stay-at-home dad. And the mum had actually whisked the children away in the middle of the night and gone back to her like home country, and he hadn't had anything to do with them or had talked to them for many years, and she was able to reconnect them back when they were adults. She was able to, and he had come through to say thank you. I was like, shut the front door, like, are you lying to me? And she said, no. I threw myself into the visualization, my greatest imagination. A lot of people say that they don't have an imagination. I said, well, how come your life is by your design and everything that you have is because you wanted it? You visualized the car that you wanted. You visualized, the outfit you put together, your clothes this morning. Like, we are creative beings. So what I want to say to you, to keep this nice and short and sweet, is what if you could utilize your greatest imagination and just say what you can see? Maybe it's through different mediums, okay, which we're going to get into the fourth hack in a second. But visualizing, okay, how can we do this? Well, you can go do a guided meditation, and I've got plenty of them here, so make sure you subscribe because we've got plenty of visualizations that you can follow through guided meditation. And if you feel like, oh, that's a bit too hard for me, I can't really like follow things, or I fall asleep, you got to keep going. You just got to keep doing it. Like, really tap into your tenacity of going, you know what, like I'm going to do this every single day. And I had this one client, and she was doing one of my programs. She did the same meditation that I provided for a whole entire month, every single day. And she fell asleep every single time until she didn't, until she could take through this visualization. It was an activation. It was really powerful. And the moment that she could actually listen to it fully was the moment she could receive it. So you just have to keep going. And if you fall asleep, that's okay. But your greatest imagination is your visualization. This is the third hack for the basics of mediumship. So how can you practice that? What are you going to do? What are you going to commit to daily? Is it journaling? Is it allowing guided meditation? Is it just playing with your imagination? What do I see? Maybe it's looking at the clouds. Okay, number 4, it really kind of rides on number 3. And this is creative expression. So I do light language, right? I do light language and readings, and I teach mediumship, and I do all sorts of spiritual business coaching. I do all these things, and I utilize creativity. The feminine, maybe you've got a female body, maybe you don't, but the feminine is a creative power, and it's really connected into the sacral energy. A lot of people come to me and say, well, Victoria, like I said before, I'm not creative. And I'm like, yes, you are. You just have to find the way that you are creative. Okay. So dancing is really incredible, like dancing and moving. So that is kind of like, ecstatic dance. I always thought, oh yeah, that's for people that have got like a lot of energy that are just dancing to like techno. No, it's not. Ecstatic dance is really about somatic practices within your body. So let your body be the thing that helps you to be the creative expression of self. The spirit is flowing through the body. So with my light language, it came through the medium of voice. Okay, so a light language is basically a language of the universe. So here's the thing you need to write down. Energy is your first language. Once you start embodying the energy as my first language, the craziest thing happens. You can read energy and read everybody, including spirit. Because you are a spirit that has a body. And spirits are spirits with no body. They don't have a body. So once you realize that you're functioning from your spirit self, you utilize the body in the way it's meant to be utilized. You love the body. You're the caregiver of the body. And you can see with your greatest imagination, creative expression, you can see other spirits. And the clears are the strongest for you. You can access every single clear. This is something I teach in my mediumship program as well. But we need to really look at the clairvoyance, the claircognizance, the clairaudience, the clairsentience. We want to look at all those clairs as different muscles on the body, essentially, strengthening them one at a time, which means you need to have a clear mind. Utilize the correct tools like crystals and wands and cards. You're really tapping into your greatest imagination with even meditation so you can transcend beyond the mind, and using your creative expression. So, light language, yeah, voice for me, but I've done much writing, I have done much art, and I have done much even like writing out. I wrote a book, and in that book it was just the channel, right? Just the clear mind and the pure channel of what that is. So your creative artistic expression, which has been put into a box of what art looks like, is the fourth hack, because without it, you won't see the power of your creativity and your superpowers. So I want to know, what is the medium, no pun intended here, what is the medium of your expression of creativity? I cannot believe it when people come to me and say, I'm not creative, I don't have a creative bone in my body. I'm like, you are a creation. You know, you're the strongest entity in your reality. To know spirit is to know yourself. So this is why I really go into somatics and breath and like the different kind of artistic creations. And I go to my very own like retreats where I get to express myself and go inward. It's such a transcendence process. It's an ascension process, and it's essential for mediumship. So I'd love to know what that is for you. Is it doodling? Is it like scribbling? Is it like getting chalk and you're writing all over the concrete with your kids? Is it baking? Is it moving? Is it dancing? Is it writing? For me, it's like doing video, you know, and speaking, and we can have more than one. The more we dive deep into ourselves, the greater our mediumship gifts happen. And I have found this in all of the ways that I've been expressing myself over the last 8 years specifically, rather than trying to fit into the box of what art means or writing means. You know, I'm dyslexic and, you know, my art's always been quite random. What I do is I explore myself. I explore my creativity. How do I feel? What is going on within my body, knowing that I am not my body? So I'd love to know. Pop that in the comment right now. How does this resonate with you? And which 4 hacks, what one of those tools has resonated the most? Can you create some type of little simple system, a sexy system that's going to support you with really expanding your gifts in these areas? I'm really, really curious. Guys, I'm going to tell you one more thing, so I hope you haven't gone anywhere. I've got a Secret Squirrel spiritual hack. Secret Squirrel spiritual hack PDF, where you get to download it, print it off, and it's going to help you access your gifts. So this is a basic mediumship, like fundamental toolkit for you to access your spiritual gifts. And I promise you, if you do these things regularly, so make sure you go get that PDF, make sure you share this, make sure you share the PDF link to other people. Because if you do these, you will be a medium quickly. I went from 33 years old, having like this awakening where I didn't know if I was Arthur or Martha, if I was crazy or gifted, to teaching hundreds of certified mediums through my Magnificent Mediumship certification, as well as thousands, like many, many thousands on how to access their gifts through YouTube, through my different platforms. I have traveled around New Zealand and Australia doing consciousness classes. I have taught classes for children. I have been in magic schools. I have got memberships. I have got masterminds, and I've got so many different ways that people can work with me. And that was not by accident, right? I'm not special. I'm a human being. I am divine. I'm a soul, I'm a spirit, and so are you. The biggest question is what do you want to do? Like I said at the beginning, do you want to talk to spirit? Do you want to talk to a loved one? Do you have that inkling like I did that I needed to go further and help other people? I wanted to create a ripple effect of change in the world. So you have got this because you are magnificent. You were born magnificent. You are powerful beyond measure, and each and every single one of you has got a strength, a unique ability, and a skill set that you need to literally tap into and activate. Okay, it's like we're a big mansion and there's so many doors, but 90% of those doors have been closed. So don't be the person who never wakes up to their spiritual gifts. Allow yourself to do the step-by-step process. And of course, if you want more, you can feel free to come over to my Facebook community where we can connect. If you want to do Magnificent Mediumship Certification, which is a 3-month program, which is so much fun. The first 6 weeks is all about you opening up to your gifts, and then you get to practice and play, be a part of a community, find your best friends for life, and be able to help the world as well as yourself. Then feel free to come and check us out. I would love to hear the biggest takeaway that happened for you today. Feel free to share this video, make sure you subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you on my socials.